do anything. I thought you were going to start the show.
Why do we turn our back on a friend we need to love from within? Tell me, when will all this hatred end? We need to bring love back again. Stop and listen for the sign of the times. Pay attention, don't you hear the cry? It's a brand new day, it's good to be alive. You have survived, ain't it good to be alive? Don't it feel real good?
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday morning, and it is just a few moments beyond 7 a.m. And I just want to say good morning, and good morning. It is Coffee Break with Senabella time, and I'm happy to have you here, wherever you are, whoever you are, and all my coffee breakers who have been very loyal to follow and continue to keep us going. Thank you so much. It's good to see you here this morning. We're going to chop it up today, have a great time. I'm having a little internet interlude problems, but you know what? I think it's going to work out okay. No matter what happens, we're here together. You're here, I'm here, we're here together. Don't start me singing, which I will, because I'm excited about life. I'm excited about people as a whole. And if you've seen my little bubble burst over my icon, it says I'm into people. Anywhere, anytime, all of that. I just love people. I love the energy. I love being able to see the transformation of our lives take place right in front of our eyes. We are living in a brand new time for those of us who are old heads like myself, and for the ones who have seen this and only know this here medium of internet, social media, instant gratification, you know what, or instant hurt and pain, which we're going to be talking about all of that today, because I have a great guest coming in today. His name is Lawrence Lenoir, or as I say, Lenoir. I guess that just like the other guest I had, she said it's Gouchenier, and I said Gouchenier. So I guess I'm just playing off of what I think I know about how to say names when they are in French. And he can correct that too. He may say, hey, Senabella, that's Dutch or something. I don't know. Anyway, how you doing? Let's just wake up. Let's start off, and I'll stop with my beautiful song, because I think that it's going to help me to pace myself, and I hope it helps you to pace yourself this morning. So let's get right into it, and make sure we use all this time to have the comfort of great conversation, great input and output into the universe, and let's just wake up feeling beautiful. I want to 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 wake up feeling beautiful. So beautiful. I want to wake up feeling 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 beautiful. Feel beautiful. I want to wake up with the sun in my eyes and joy in my heart. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I feel beautiful. 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 Hey, that's it for me. That is what it's all about. You know, we get in them little freeze moments. It might mean something special, like the spirit is in the room, guiding us, keeping us in our prominence of self, right? The beautiful abstractions and perfections and all the things that we need to be being guided by the spirit and the light. How you doing? God, I feel good. Anyway, I'm excited this morning because I have this brother who came into the room and began to have commentary about the subject of how do you prove love? And in doing so, his comments were so stimulating. I said, let me go and find out who this man is. Let me follow this brother, see who he is, what he's all about, and why he has stimulated my curiosity. So in doing so, okay, here I am. So in doing so, so you know I'm nervous. In doing so, I discovered that he was really communicating quite consistently. And I made him a friend on my page, and I found out and I discovered that his subject, like mine, were as deep, if not even deeper. And his work was something that was of great community service, or should I say service to mankind. And he's a pastor. He's an advocate for veterans in Illinois. He is a counselor. He is many things. And I want to invite him into the room. So please put your hands together and let's all just do a wonderful coffee break. Welcome to, as he has been titled, the retired veteran, Pastor Dr. Lawrence Lenore. Good morning.
Good morning, and I love it. Wake up feeling beautiful.
Yes.
Don't wait till the day gets started and you had your first cup of coffee and you feel good. When you wake up, feel beautiful.
That's
not
right.
don't wait till you get in the mirror and make yourself look good, slicking back your hair, putting your makeup on, saying, well, I guess this looks good on me today. No, feel beautiful when you wake up. That's something up here. That's something up there.
Let me say this to you. I've shared it before earlier and this is still a new video, vlog, right? This is still new. But I've stated that I woke up one morning and I was on my way into the rest area, and all of a sudden this song started coming in my head as they do. I started singing it and it made me feel a certain way. And I was like, wow, that feels good, Mm-hmm. So I just started singing it all day that day. And since then I've sung it every day. Mm-hmm. And I decided that, I wanted to share that with people. Here we are. Good morning, Senabella, and our coffee break. This is Sherry Lynn Smith's in the house with us this morning, Lawrence. And so she's saying, good morning. Good morning, Cherie. It's always wonderful to have you here. So grateful for Cherie. So music is my life, but it's a temperament of my life. It's a spirit of my life. I'm blessed to be able to think of words as soon as I see an image or something and create a melody around it. But I realized about 3 years ago, it's been about 3 years before my brother passed. His name is Tiamu Raouf. And he had come back from Africa, 40 years on the continent working. And he came back and he wasn't well. And I discovered that he was suffering, that he had cancer. And so I sat down in my living room chair. At the time, in this here same area, I had a chair and I'd sit in the window and all of the sun would come beaming in on me. Mm-hmm. And it dawned on me that I wasn't writing the songs, that the songs were being sent to me. And that day I wrote 10 songs And I was just amazed at this here new concept at that time, the way I felt about it. It's like, how do I know this is the ancestors? How do I know that God is performed in this way with me, that I'm having this conversation between the universe, the interterrestrial and all of these things, however we want to frame it, right? Define it. And then it hit me. It made sense. There's no way I could, at least in my mind at that time, there's no way that I would be able to write 10 songs at one time. That's right. But I sat there in that chair and wrote 10 and went to the studio immediately and began to record them with my musical director, Robert Irving III. And he was just like, it's just amazing how you write. So yeah, it's a spirit, right? Music is of a Holy Spirit. So what do you have to say about what I'm saying? I just want to hear your voice.
What I have to say about that is we need to really understand that we are vessels, and the sooner we yield to our Creator, then the sooner we could be used to change other people's life or change the trajectory, the vibrations of other people's life, because it's all about vibrations, as you said. It's all about us yielding to our Creator. Now, there's no way, that we can say, oh, I want to write a song. Let me write this down. I want to write a poem. This is what I want to write about. It comes to us. Sometimes it comes to us, and this is common with a lot of people. They just don't go to higher levels with it. Wake up at 2 a.m, especially a lot of entertainers, song stylists, musicians, 2 a.m, and they have this beat in their head and they can't get rid of it. They have these words in their head and they can't get rid of it. And they write them down. And all of a sudden, they find out that what woke them up at 2 a.m is changing people's lives. All of us, even those of us who are not in the entertainment field, have heard back in the day. That's what I'm gonna call it. Back in the day, we've heard records that we said, oh man, that's my jack, because I can relate to that. When I was coming up, the Temptations, each day through my window, all men could relate to. I wish it would rain, but all men could relate to that. Back then, we had records like Tyrone Davis and Clarence Carter, people like that made. I'm just a jealous kind of and guys were like, "Oh, I can relate to that."
So that's Clarence Carter, jealous kind of fellow.
Yeah. So
I heard the song. I didn't know who it was. Right.
Yeah, guys could relate to that. And so
they were moral constructs.
I have a cousin.
Music is a moral construct.
Music is everywhere. I'm gonna tell you something. Regardless of what your faith is, just like in the Holy Bible, for Christian believers, there is music mentioned over and over again throughout it. In the book of Psalms, the Songs of Solomon, there's music in there. Music has a vibrational level, whether it's instruments or songs that reach our soul, being our mind, body, and our emotions. Now, back in the Roman days, they used to take a little harp, and they would lay it on a person. So if a person had pain over on their side, they would say, well, maybe that's this organ. So they would hit the certain keys that parallel with that organ in the person's body. And the vibrations would help heal that person. Our whole life, our whole existence is about vibrations. If you remember when we were in high school and they used to show us the little videos, or back then they had the big real, not real, but the movies where they had the tapes, the tapes of film in, and they would show this is a cell, and the cell would be doing like this, and this is an atom, and all they would all be moving. They were vibrating. We know vibrations rule the universe. Vibrations are what we are. We're vibration. Our skin, our bone are vibrations. The air has one vibration of cells, but the wall has a different vibration of cells. The vibrations in the wall move slower. That's why we can't put our hand through it. But the air is different. It moves faster. So the vibrations when we sing affect certain parts of our body. This is why different kinds of music make people like heavy rock, metal rock, make people just, it's not the beat, it's the vibrations. And so when you wake up saying, I wake up feeling beautiful, people think it's just mellow and it sounds good and makes them feel good, but it's the vibrations.
Well, speaking of vibrations, I just want to make sure I invite in a comment. Good morning, cuz working in Arkansas, so been missing your great sessions. Oh, I love you, Dana. Let me say that vibrations are everything, right? And whether we're family, friends, or we just meet for the first time, and oftentimes in front of strangers, we'll just release our soul to them. We'll tell them all our woes and we'll laugh with them and treat them as though we've known them all our lives and walk away and never see them again. But for whatever reason, feel refreshed, feel renewed, you know, and that's the beauty of human compassion, the human spirit, you know, connecting with each other. And there's nothing that is like that. But when we stand alone in the universe, we can feel our own spirit. You know, we can stand in the middle of a room or outside. Specifically, if you're outside, you can feel the balance of who you are and the earth. And they say the greatest healing properties are when we're barefoot on the ground and we are allowing the circadian rhythm to reset our bodies and for us to grow and heal in that moment. And many people talk about how they've overcome illnesses just standing outside on the ground at the beach or in the yard and just allowing their bodies to reset themselves. So for, you know what, in saying that, today I'm going to go out and do that, because a lot of people today walk around barefoot because they reset their bodies to the circadian rhythm of the earth, you know. And I mean, I can actually, as I think about it in storytelling, and forgive me if I get a little verbose, but this sister who is a beautiful sister, Alice, she told me that her grandmother used to take her brother who had bad legs. He was bow-legged, right? He had problems with his legs. And she would put him in the dirt, dig a hole and put him in the dirt in Mississippi and just bury him in the dirt up to his neck. And the whole day, just let him stay there. And when he'd come out of it, after he did it a few times, his illnesses went away. His legs started to heal and do better. So, I mean, there are many instances in which we start talking about vibration and attraction and healing properties that are very natural, and we don't really utilize those things. And what do you think that's all about?
Well, you know what? I would say it like this. The earth is a replica of us. The earth is a replica of us. Not getting religious, but if we really think about the Bible, and the Bible talks about how we were created from the earth, and we really think about that, you know, we have to understand that we are in tune not only with the universe, but on a smaller scale with the planet. So therefore, when she took her shoes off, when the sister buried her brother up to his neck in the earth, then what she was doing was connecting him back to where he came from so he can be healed. It's kind of like getting in a warm tub of water to get the dirt off of you. You get in the earth and it helps remove the toxins from your body. Now, I don't mean if you have asthma or cancer or something, arthritis or gout, and then you just get down in the dirt and it's gonna be gone when you get up. But we are connecting to the source of our fleshly body. And this is why I connected with a guy named Dr. Michael Vincent, and he's passed over now. I don't say died, I don't say passed away, because he's passed over from Flint, Michigan. And he used to talk to me and he taught me about what we have going on in our body. For example, if we have lower back pain, something that I used to suffer with, there's a reason why. It's not because all of the time, it's not because, oh, my muscles hurt or what have you. A lot of times it's because of trauma or stress that we've had in our life. So he taught me a method that I have used on many people to relieve the stress and trauma, which goes on for generations, because things that happened back in 1910 with our grandfather or grandmother is in our DNA. It's in our femur bone. A lot of people don't know that. This is why people take pharmaceuticals, and I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I'm not against it at all. But you know, if you buy a Cadillac, you don't take it to the Volkswagen dealer to get it fixed. You go back to the Cadillac dealer. So instead of sitting up, and a lot of people in church, they think, they say, well, I can just pray and it'll go away. But see, you have to couple that. You have to couple that with the flesh, where your body came from. It came from the dust of the ground. So guess what? You have to connect with the dust of the ground. You have to connect with the trees. You have to connect with the plants. We can be healed by plants like spider plants and other aloe vera plants. We got somebody that just made a comment.
So, well, Sherry Lynn Smith, Sherry says when her father was passing, that they had a harpist who helped the transcendence come and play. And she started by thanking him. Few words, but I remember she says, "You are my beloved. I kiss your face." My auntie sat by his side and sang him the oldest deep family tunes. Music takes us everywhere. Yeah, you know,
yes.
I want to kind of say this because Asada, she and I, as we became more and more acquainted, one day I was saying something about money, and she said, "Girl, money ain't nothing but a vibration." And I went, you know what? Let me stop and take that in for a minute. And since then, I promise you, I don't trip on money at all.
That's right.
I realize it is, but I had not ever had anyone say that to me in that way. Or I shouldn't say, I had never had anyone say that to me, period. So from out of left field, she says something to me that is something important to mostly everyone. Everyone's always talking about money, 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 the economy, right? Like what's going to happen, I'm going to say, with the veterans and the economy, what's going to happen with the seniors and the economy, what's going to happen with our children and the economy, with food and the economy, money. It is a vibration.
It is.
And when she said that, I parted, it was like a parting of the sea for me. And I walked straight through the middle, and things in my life changed immediately.
Right.
Because I was willing to accept that it wasn't as important in the sense in which I had made it. Like for me, it had to be physical, like this cup. I needed to be able to touch it. I needed to be able to know that it was present in my bank account, right? I needed to know that I had a certain amount in order to spend it. But when she said that, I realized that, wait a minute, when I put it in my bank, it's now out of my hands anyway.
That's
Right? And I'm
right.
allowing somebody else to have possession of my income or my money. And so I just trust that they're going to release it when I say, go pay this thing, right? And I just said, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about my bank anymore.
Right.
I was
Right.
always worried about making sure the balance and everything. I literally have walked away from the pain of this lack of understanding. It is a vibration.
Right.
Once we earn something, we earn it. It's ours to have, to use,
Right.
and to share, right?
Yes.
Right. And so just like the music is something I share, I have a whole nother vibration about my music too. I really share it. I don't get caught up in the copyright and all that. And of course they make you do
Right.
that when you put stuff up. But I'm like, you know what? If it reaches one person to 20,000, it doesn't matter. You know. And so, man, this is a conversation, right? The energy thing.
It's an expression through us from our Creator. Whether people call our Creator God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever they call our Creator, we understand there's something greater than us, and we are vessels. And being used as a musician is very important, because as a singer, a song stylist, a musician, you set the pace for people's journey. You set the pace. If people really think about it, we can break it down real simplistic. When you're a child, we have certain music or certain vibrations, and the words set our journey. Little children be like the itsy bitsy spider. That's a rhythm. Dun, 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 dun. It's a rhythm. It's a common rhythm to keep them going. Then we get to another level. I have a cousin. He passed over also. His name was L.D. Young. And he had
LD Young was your cousin?
Yeah, that's my first cousin.
You can't just pass over that.
Yeah.
Okay, LD Young was your cousin. I am not upset with you at all. That's quite a cousin.
But see, I'm not one of them people. I don't try to live vicariously through his accomplishments, but I do know this: he made a lot of music, but one record he made called Soulful Strut. Now it wasn't even his song. It was a song that someone sang called I'm Not the Same Girl. That was the record. I'm not the same girl you used to know. That was the song. But the DJ back then played the B-side, because back then the 45s used to have instrumental on one side sometimes and the vocals on the other side. So the DJ accidentally played the instrumental side, and it caught on like that.
Yeah.
But that background music, that instrumental part without the vocals,
like that. I actually
the vocals changed people's lives. So just like the itsy bitsy spider, now we done got to a level where some people are like dun 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 dun. They mellow. Some people are like Frankie Beverly. Some people are like different types of music. So that's what creates, helps mold and shape their soul, which molds and shape how they respond to different situations. More people that feel like, hey, you know what? My light bill is $60 and I got $50 in the bank. It's okay. It's okay. And some people are like, oh man, what I'm gonna do? Because of the vibrations, and that's what life is about. Young lady Dolores,
Yeah, Dolores
saying good
Ringo.
morning.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's still going. And here you
yeah.
go. You
So
got
we
go ahead
have to
and
understand.
acknowledge them. So since we're gonna say the good mornings, let's get it on out the way. So
All
that's
right.
Dolores, and then we have Bill Morton.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Bill. Thank you for coming back in, Bill, and everybody. I love everybody, and you know that. That's just me. And then
Okay.
Zelda Robinson. There go your
Hey,
girl.
Zelda.
Zelda, wait a minute now. You know, he kind of shared with Asada and I the early days of Can TV and his association with you. So I'm even more excited that I'm in the right medium, that I'm meeting people that you know. Okay.
That's vibrations. That's vibrations.
Zelda's amazing.
Yes, he is. She
Yes.
is.
This is a great place to be. Oh, and Zara's up. Girl, you know you better stop. Zara that came. I am, I've known Zara for a while, but I'm a big fan of hers now. I'm like, I'm the Zara fan club. I need to start a fan club. And she was just at my event that I work so diligently to put on every year at IIT with the IIT Community Affairs Office. Elisa Bunton and we just worked so hard at the the Bronzeville Vendor Fair and Wildflower Music Festival. And Zara was there, and she just tore it up. Tore it up. So kudos to you, Zara.
Amen.
And then you have, let me see, my wheel is turning. Talk about energy and vibrations. And so here, oh my God, and this sister right here, I did meet you, Abantu Price. Look, she and her husband came out to the festival, and I noticed that this beautiful woman was walking around the grounds and so forth. And I kept noticing her just kind of always being present, but I didn't know why. And I noticed that this brother who came with a camera was always taking pictures. And I was like, I'm kind of accustomed to seeing people do videos and that kind of thing. So I wasn't making a big deal out of it. But as the show ended, at the end of the night, they came up to me and introduced themselves and asked where they could send pictures. And they sent and they provided the most beautiful photos of the event. Actually, I was going to show them here today, but I'll come back with it. But they're on Facebook. And I'm just grateful for relationships.
Right.
Relationships. I used to work for this guy by the name of Dr. Leon Finney, and he told me, Senabella, business is about relationships, just like life. And if you don't have relationships, you cannot go anywhere.
That's right. That's right.
So that's a vibe too, right?
That's right. That's right.
But I think about how blessed I am and have been. How have I survived this life? That's a deep piece for me because I was always in survival mode, but I was unaware of it because I had needs that existed. So I didn't realize, and most people don't. We don't know we're in survival mode. We may pray and we say we believe in God and all those things that we do.
Right.
And we walk around like, in survival mode all the time. I was in survival mode so much so that a lot of life was happening and I just pushed things to the side and keep going. But one day I looked up and I said, oh my God, I'm here. I'm here. And what about this? And what about that? And look at this. And I'm here in this room right at this moment. And I recognize the beauty of living, how it can be so absent, but yet still be so present. We talked about energy. So can you expound with me more on the energy part that you were discussing earlier on Facebook?
Well,
energy. Energy.
This is where we're at. Okay. When we leave here in this form, we're not going to Cleveland. We're not going to open our eyes and say, wow, I got a nice mansion on 5th and Main in Cleveland. We're not going to be there. What we need to understand is just what you said, the vibrations, the connection. So when we say to a stranger, when we're on a certain level that we love them, they understand it's because we are connected. We're interconnected. And that's where we have to get to that point. But we have been dumbed down. We've been in the system Because even in the Bible, the Christian Bible, it talks about us being sent here as sheep among the wolves. So we're already in an environment that is not natural. We're in an environment that's not, so it's up to us. We have to search for a connection, and that's that energy level, searching for that connection. So as you stated about you and Zelda, that's that connection. You didn't go looking for Zelda in the yellow pages. She didn't go looking for you on Sheridan or Broadway or Wilson or nothing. You all connected. There's a lot of entertainers that I have seen. There's a lot of people I've met, but I've only connected with certain ones. But when I connect with them, I don't have to see them all the time. We might have met one time, and there's a connection. There's not by what we said to each other. It's just something there. And that's what we have to understand, that this form here, I like to liken it like this. When I was younger, we used to go to places like Riverview, Funtown on 95th and Stony Island. We went to places like that. Different carnivals used to be in the community every now and then. And we went there. But when Funtown, when Riverview, when the carnival shut down, it was nothing happening for us in that place at that time because it was shut down. So this is how I look at this form as. There's nothing happening when this is over. For us in this form. So we need to do what we have to do while we're in this form.
So
that's
just
what
right.
We need to do.
So if you don't mind, let's just stay right there. We need to take a break.
Okay.
So let's go to commercial and we'll be right back.
All
right. The Soulful Chicago.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
The Soulful Chicago Book Fair, Woodlawn's premier summer event, returns to 61st Street between Cottage Grove and King Drive, Saturday, August 9th, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another celebration of literary works by and about the Black experience, featuring children's books, fiction books, and non-fiction works by local and international authors. The main stage will host an entertainment lineup second to none, with Pari Lemuel, Aniba and the Soul Stars, and the mesmerizing Moo Moo Fresh. Special guest, DJ Celeste. The community stage features a variety of family-friendly performances, such as DJ sets produced by IC Music, an organization that trains and promotes blind audio engineers. All this and more, Saturday, August 9th, free and open to all. Be there. Visit SoulfulChicagoBookFair.com for more information.
So we're back. We're back. We're talking about energy and vibrations and intentionality, right? To a great degree. We don't even realize that we're being so intentional sometimes.
Right.
You know,
Right.
oftentimes we're just, I call it, we're sort of just walking around and living, right? Until something stimulates you to realize that there's a specific action or thing that's going on, right? We're ready by meetings and schedules and needs of other people and things that we haven't had ourselves that we need. And meditation somehow allows us, prayer and meditation allows us somehow to tap back into ourselves for a moment.
Right.
And so one of the things that I'm very keen about is giving the first few hours of every day to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Stop to pray, to meditate, to think it through. And not just to write it down, what 10 things can I accomplish today, but really what 2 things can I accomplish today?
Right.
Instead of, I used to have such a long list, sometimes it'd be 27 things. My things to do list, and this is just about a year or 2 ago, so I can't tout it like I've been doing it for a long time, but I looked up and I was like, I can't believe how immediate everything needs to be. The checklist was crazy. And I always felt accomplished at the end of the day, seeing the checks. Check. Done it, called this. I had a section for where you needed to deal with the actual, what money you're making that day, what bills you're paying that day, what meetings I had to go to that day, what people I needed to talk to make sure appointments were straight with that day, things I needed to do at the house and the store and all that. By the time it was over with, I didn't even know I was tired. I just literally passed out.
Right.
I passed out and I didn't do anything other people haven't done. But you think somehow that you're so great and genius at what you're doing, and you wake up one day exhausted.
Well, we've been trained that way. You only know what you're taught. And we've been trained that way, even from grammar school or primary school, in what I call the education plantation. We've been trained that way you have to, in order to be successful, not even on a corporate level, but just in life in general, you need to pay your bills. You're not taught about financial management. You need to go to church or to your synagogue or to your hall or to your mosque, whatever your faith is. You're not taught how to apply it to your life, how to apply those principles and precepts to your life. So we feel like we're doing everything they taught us how to do, and we're doing great, but we're really just robots until we get that awakening that you had 2 years ago. Years ago, I saw a cartoon called Robots, and there was this big robot. His name was Mr. Big Wheel, and he ran this huge corporation that made robots, and the robots were the population of the town. Well, what happened was one day he walked away from it all because he realized that there was more to his life than what he had been taught, what he had been successful in corporate America, or just being a regular person with a family or a job, paying bills and mortgages and rent and car. There's more to his life than a savings and checking account. There was more. And it was one phrase in that cartoon that stuck with me, and I carry it with me to this day. He was asked, why did you walk away from all this? And this is a guy on the level of a Donald Trump, had everything. He said he realized why he was created. Now, mind you, he's a robot, so he was put together by somebody. He said, I was created to see a need, fill a need. See a need, feel a need, and we're taught that when we're young. You said, "Wow, I can sing." Somebody, Zelda said, I can relate to people. Somebody said, I can play an instrument. Somebody said, I've got a certain type of voice. Somebody said, they need their leaves raked. So we see a need and we feel a need. But the thing is, when we look at it universally, we feel needs once we yield to our Creator. Once we yield to God, we're able to be used to fill a need in somebody's life.
And then there's the attractor, right? So
Yeah.
now we're in our divine self, so to speak, or becoming divine, because it's
Yes.
a process. It's a
Yeah.
process, and you don't even realize how much junk you have in your trunk.
You don't.
So I'm going to ask you a question after I say this, because it's something as it relates to you and all this conversation. But you don't realize how much junk you have in your trunk. You don't realize how much you have harmed other people
That's right.
with your junk, unaware. And you can see yourself as a template of a good person and that I do great things. Right, cousin, amen. And all of a sudden you realize one day that the gossip is not fake.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about self-realization.
That the thread is real, that there are things about you that you have been putting out that you didn't even recognize that you were putting out. For me, that was another wake-up call. It was like, whoa, I can be better at this. I have to start becoming more present. I have to hear what people are doing, hear what people are saying, and take in what they really need from my spirit, from me, maybe nothing. And then I have to begin to care, because I didn't realize I wasn't caring. I thought because I was so helpful all the time that meant that people understood who I was. It didn't matter. Nobody cared about that. They didn't care about how I dressed. They didn't care about that I showed up. They didn't care about, they were just trying to figure out, who is she?
Right.
And I didn't fit into the cliques or anything. So there was a divine intervention. I did, in fact, begin to transform. So I want to ask you the question, Dr. Lawrence Lenore, pastor, advocate for veterans, people, man. When was it a moment for you of transformation to become the conversation that you are today?
Well, this is what I slowly realized, that I was not and am not the sum of what I do. I had to go through a spiritual self-realization, because a lot of people say, I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person, and all that. And I was actually driving a semi. I used to drive a truck cross country for 10 years when I got out the Marines. And I came to Chicago and I went to visit my son. And I said, and I grew up in Chicago on the west side and on Holman and Lake, and then in Inglewood, and I lived in Cabrini Green for a while back in the early 70s. And I said, son, why are all these young men on the street? All of them got on white T-shirts. He said, Dad, they either dropped out of school or, they can't find a job. So that's what he told me. I took what he told me and said, oh, okay. Now, me, I'd never done anything on the level that our Creator took me to. Our ancestors spoke into me. I called Father Flager up at St. Sabina. Never been to a church service there, didn't know anything about him, but he was in the newspapers. So I said, can I give a job fair there? He said, yes. I called different companies up. I called the police department. I called HRDI. I called different Inner Voice, just of different companies and had them come. I had 17 different businesses there that were looking to hire. Why? Because I didn't look at what I had done. I didn't say, oh, I've been driving a truck and I've been in the Marines, so therefore I need to stick to that line in order to be successful because that's what I know. No, I didn't do that, but I didn't even know I wasn't doing that. When we get to the point when God speaks to us and he uses, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people know what I'm talking about because a lot of people have said things and they said, man, did that just come out of my mouth? Man, that was genius. People have written songs and say, oh my God, that is the bomb. I don't even know where that came from. And so that's what happened. That's when I realized I have a greater purpose, but I can't do it from up here. I have to just yield and say, use me. That's it. When you're on stage singing, one event, you're singing and it just flows. The next event, you say, well, I'm going to sing a little bit, but I need to get more into the other side of it, setting it up, going out, mixing up with the people. See, so you're yielding yourself to be used in different ways. And that's what we have to focus on. This is why everybody knows this proverb, but we misuse it. It takes a village to raise a child. Well, that's true, but we have to know our place in the village. We have to know what lane we're supposed to be. Just because that's my son, it don't mean I'm the best advisor for him when it comes to going to a university. Just because it's my nephew don't mean I'm the go-to guy for his issues. It might be a cousin that's 2 or 3 years older than him. So we understand that once we start yielding. And that's the whole thing. I realize that I'm not here for myself. I don't sweat it. I sit back. I was talking to someone yesterday about what's going on with our country today, because I'm a big advocate for information about our people. I'm an advocate for people who are Polish. And I tell them, I met a guy in Iowa about 15 years ago, and he had a tattoo on his leg. It said white power. I said, what does white power mean? He told me that he was proud to be white. I said, well, that's your pigmentation. What about your ethnicity? What about your ancestors? Why don't you be proud of what they did in Poland and what they accomplished when they came to America? That's what you're proud to be part of. Don't be proud because you was born with curly hair. Don't be proud because the pigmentation of your skin. And so that's where I'm at. I tell people all the time, yield to God, yield to our Creator. You will find yourself on levels that you never thought you could reach. And I'm sure you've met a lot of people who you said, man, they're just a genius. And they say, I'm just an everyday person. I'm just an everyday person.
I find myself having a fascination with voices and faces. Mm-hmm. I love to see people's faces and I love to hear their voice. Mm-hmm. In fact, once I hear a person speak, I feel like connecting with them right away. Mm-hmm. Like I get the full measure of who they are, because our voice is a temperament, right? Again, going back to Asada's word, a vibration. And in that high vibration or low vibration, I tend to have that understanding of where they are when I'm seeing them, when I'm meeting them, or if I'm listening, talking to them on the phone or whatever. And it helps me to guide myself with what it is I would like to say or what it is that I will say, or hearing them in a much more concerned manner, and not just be doing the polite kind of thing. Hey girl, how you doing? What's up with us? Oh, Naima's here. Look, Naima's here. She says, thank you for stepping up to help our youth. Too many elders look down on jobless young people rather than to reach out and help them. And yeah, you know, the thing is that once for me, I'll speak to myself, not as a we, as a me, because I think that, and I haven't really surrendered my whole story to everyone, and that's just a purposeful act. Here in this medium, I've become more real and more capable than I would have ever thought that I would become. The medium is a very giving medium. It allows you to explore, exploit, and consider things that you might or might not say of yourself. But I have found that the healing properties of being able to communicate are great. So it makes sense to me why voices and faces are now more important for me, because people are hearing my voice and seeing my face, right? And so that authentic measure is extremely important to me. And so I interact with people accordingly. And then I'm able to get that vibration. Like Serenity Faith is here. This is to hear. She and I met on Facebook as well. And I absolutely was attracted to her spirit. I felt like I knew this sister right away. And she likewise, we just connected. It was that. And it was that she called herself Serenity too. Right? And I was like, oh hell, I need all that in my life. Like, let's go into the roots, right? And so we see what we've chosen for ourselves is how we want to be viewed. It's either what we want to become or how or what it is that we've been forced to become. I'm Senabella. I'm named of my grandmother. That's a vibration and an energy for me that I walk around with all the time.
It is.
You know, I speak of my mother all the time. My mother was a vibe. She was a definite vibrations, and most of us will attest that our mothers were vibes. You know, and our fathers were too. In fact, if you had a father that was really present, you remembered everything about him like you did your mama.
Right.
You know, if your father was more than just earning bread, bringing home the money, you did not. He was a dad. He was like, that's my dad. Even if he came home and he had to spank your butt or not, he did it with his voice and his presence. That was the power of having a father in the house. Right? Voice and presence. You saw your day like everything is gonna be good now, right? Because he brings that food home and mama gonna be better, you know, and we gonna see our dad. In fact, my mother, before she passed, she wrote a little poem called Daddy Daddy, because she saw my nephew, her grandson come home in Africa, and the kids would run to him and grab him around the bottom of his legs, and he would drag him with his leg, you know. So she wrote Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. So everything is about energy and vibration, you know, and it is what is sort of like X-rayed on our hearts, inside of our spirit, right? And it's the imaging that we have of how we feel about things and people. So when we encounter each other, we find our needs now sewn into other spirits, people, and things, right? We got to take a quick commercial. We're about to get out of here. I want you to kind of have another moment to just wrap up. So before we go to commercial, let me let you have this next minute. Kind of say what it is you'd like to leave as an imprint here, you know.
Well, what I want to leave everybody, including myself, with is yield. Your life is not about how many degrees you get. The degrees that you have and the accomplishments that you make secularly, all those things are good, but what are you using them for? Are you using them heuristically? In other words, are you using them for yourself? Are you using them to help others? You know, even a box of Cheerios tells you on the box, there are so many servings in this box. How many servings are in you?
That's everything. So I'm going to do this here, and we're going to go commercial. Listen to this. Sherry Lynn Smith, Dana Gill, Miranda Avery, Dolores Ringo, Zelda
That's
Robinson,
that's
Bill
my
Ward,
niece.
Abantu Price, and Zara Glenda Baker. Dolores Ringo, Serenity Faith, Naima Latif. I pour, you have poured into me. Let's go to commercial before I close out. Okay. Thank you.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.